welcome back. So today I'm actually going to be doing a video completely dedicated to dairy alternatives for you guys for very popular items out there, like milk, butter, eggs, even though I don't think everyone considers eggs dairy. I don't know, where does it fall? But we're gonna include it. And cheeses out there, yogurts, ice creams, all the things that you may want to find an alternative for. I actually had this recommendation this week, in fact, and I was like, this is too good to pass up. I gotta do it. I can't believe actually that I have not had a video like dedicated to this. But if you are not new to my channel and if you do follow like my weekly grocery hauls, you know, I do of course share with you guys some of my favorite things week to week, and then of course new items as I come upon them. But this will be somewhere you can go as just a collective place for dairy-free alternatives out there for my like go-tos. But with that, I have to say this video is going to be very opinion based, right? This is going to be things that I really like and have found over the years of eating this way. But with that, I thought this would also be a great video because you guys can totally sound off in the comments with your favorite go-tos for these items as well. And, you know, vouch for me if mine are up there on the list with you too, of course. But I just thought this would be a great way to put the discussion out there. And for anyone that's really new to the lifestyle, whether you're going completely all in or you're just kind of dabbling in, this can be really helpful for you. And I'm happy to do it. So I hope you guys enjoy. I'm going to jump right into it. I don't want to waste any time because we got lots of things. I mean, I took notes, you know. But actually, I'm going to put everything that I'm talking about too, if I don't have it in person, up on the screen for you guys. If you guys want to take like a screenshot, even if something piques your interest and the next time you're shopping, you're looking for it, I got you. All right, so first we've got milk. Milk is probably one of the most popular dairy items out there, of course, that most people incorporate in some form. My three go-tos, I have three, would be soy milk, flax milk, almond milk. I think those three, you're all set. Now with that, I do have it just to share with you guys. You haven't really seen me recently go to almond milks in stores as much anymore, but I did for many, many years. But that was because I finally came upon this company called Joy, J-O-I, and it stands for just one ingredient. And it's an almond base, and you can make your own almond milk. So I still buy soy and I still buy flax milk, but this one is so awesome to be able to just make it on your own. You put a big dollop of it in your blender, add water and blend, and you've got almond milk. It's awesome. I'll link this below if you're interested. But seriously, almond milk in general, there is so many on the market, and honestly, I think they're pretty good, all of them, really. Now, soy milk, I pretty much stick to unsweetened. That's just my preference, but with that too, of course, there are sweetened options, whatever you prefer. I think my favorite brand for soy milk would be Silk, which is also good because it's very readily available in a lot of grocery stores for you. So growing up, I actually grew up on 2% milk, and it has a thicker consistency, but not quite as much as like a cream or whole milk, right? But I feel like soy milk was a really good substitute for me. Almond milk is a little bit thinner in consistency typically, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But if you're trying to find, you know, something that you're used to coming from, something that's going to be similar in consistency, I think soy milk is closer to like 2% milk. It's really good too. I just love it. Now for me personally, I do try to find milk alternatives that have higher protein. So that's another reason too that I like it, is it does have more protein in it. Now I used to love the Trader Joe's soy milk as well, but they recently kind of stopped carrying it and replaced it with oat milk. Now I know I said that the three milks that I kind of go to did not include technically oat milk. That's actually not entirely true. Maybe I have 4 in the lineup too, because I feel like recently, now that oat milk has become really popular, I've, you know, incorporated that a lot more. But again, Trader Joe's has replaced their soy milk with oat, and I would again say it's pretty similar in consistency too, but so that's another option for you as well. And then again, flax milk, I love it, but particularly again, speaking of protein, I do prefer the one with added protein. It is by the Good Karma brand. I don't see a ton of options in brand variety for flax milk. I feel like Good Karma is like one of the only. You can find that at Sprouts, you can find that at Whole Foods. So those are definitely my go-tos for milk. Next one, eggs. I know a lot of people don't consider eggs dairy, and then a lot of people do. I think we got kind of just lump it into that category, whether it is or isn't. I'm gonna include it for the sake of this video. And for me personally, hands down for egg replacement, Just Egg. It is so good. It is delicious. Now they have it in a bottle form where it's like a liquid, and that is wonderful for making like scrambled eggs and truly getting that replacement right there. They also have, of course, their just folded eggs is what they call them, plant folded eggs. Amazing. You keep them in your freezer, you pop one into the toaster, and you can make yourself like an egg breakfast style sandwich. They're so, so good. I love them, and I definitely recommend them. Again, Whole Foods, Sprouts has them. I believe some Walmarts even have them, Target too. So you should be able to get your hands on it, and I'm super excited. They are going to be coming out this spring, I have heard, with like the little egg bites, kind of like you would again find at Starbucks or something like that. I'm so excited. I think they're going to be delicious because their other products are amazing. But if you are looking for more of a egg replacer too, which you could totally use the like liquid form of Just Egg as a replacement for like baking, but if you're wanting something that might be a little more cost effective for the purpose of that, I would suggest the Follow Your Heart egg. It's in a powder form. That is wonderful for baking. It is. But if you're looking for even cheaper, and I'm with you, there are definitely some other options. You can use applesauce as a substitute. Again, when we're talking about in baking, when it calls for 2 eggs, usually just 1 tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of applesauce is the equivalent of like 1 egg. So that's your replacer right there. You can take flax meal and mix it with water, and it'll make almost like this little goopy type consistency, and that will be your egg. Now, if you're wanting that already just like true egg replacer, it says it on the bag. I get it. When you're new, you know, applesauce is easy, go for it. But sometimes you just want, when it tells you, what do I do? You know, I'm with you, I get it. So there is, by Bob's Red Mill's, egg replacer. And basically, again, it is a powder, and you add water to it, let it sit for a couple minutes, and it will make that gelatinous type egg consistency. And those are my go-tos. I love them. Okay, butter. Let's talk butter. I have a couple go-tos. My pretty much standard go-to is Earth Balance. One, you can find it pretty much anywhere, and they do have it in a tub form, and they have it in a stick form. The sticks are awesome, of course, for baking, because typically when you have a baking recipe like cookies and cakes and stuff, it always says a stick of butter, right? That just makes it simple, of course, but whatever works. But again, even the tub option, that's pretty much what we keep in our fridge at all times, just when we do need, you know, butter for bread or whatever it is, making a good grilled cheese. It's wonderful. But one of my complaints about it is it's very hard in consistency. Now, I mean, if you set it out in advance and stuff, it'll be better, of course, but who got time for that, you know? But that's the only thing. It's a little bit hard. So if you were going to put some of that butter and spread it onto like soft bread that's not like toasted or anything, it's a little bit difficult. So with that, the one that I do like to get is the, I can't believe it's not butter, it's vegan. I think that's what they call it. I like that one a lot because it's very, very creamy and smooth. It really is. But I like the flavor of the Earth Balance one a little bit more, but they're still both really good. So those are my 2 like go-to brands for butter. All right, let's talk cheese, because that's the main one, right? Again, whether you are vegan or not, thinking about it or not, most people that I feel like, and myself included on this, of course, when you consider going plant-based or dairy-free, it's like, what about cheese? And let me just say, I do think that 5 years ago, this would have been a whole different conversation, meaning there were options, but it's come a long way. It's come a very long way. And I'm confident in saying that now, that there are going to be replacements you will find out there that are going to blow you away. But it wasn't always that way. And I get it. It was hard, you know? Now let's just speak cheese in general. I think a lot of the times vegans in general, when you talk about a cheese replacer, a lot of us will say nutritional yeast. And that is so good for you. I am not knocking it whatsoever. I have it in my cupboard. I love it. It is great protein, great B12. It's awesome. And you can turn it into so many different like sauces. It's great. And the reason why we say, you know, nutritional yeast for cheese is it can take on kind of a cheesy flavor. However, Again, coming from eating regular dairy cheese, I don't think it's going to truly fill that void for you. I think it's something that will grow on you, and then you'll incorporate it more and be all about it. But again, in the beginning, you're kind of looking for something that's going to really wow you. But for me, nutritional yeast took a little bit of time. It took a little bit of like growing on me. And now again, like I said, I love it. All right, so let's talk mozzarella cheese. I think that is a very, very popular one. I gotta say, for like making your own pizza, if that's something you wanted to do, that can be obviously a really hard one when you're going vegan, because the majority, of course, of most traditional pizzas are cheese. And you know, I think there are some good mozzarellas out there that have a decent flavor, but sometimes the texture of it, especially when you're trying to get it to melt, is not always the best. It just melts a little bit gummy. It kind of, when you bite into it, in fact, it kind of sticks to the gums. It does. It's a little bit weird. And again, I want to give you something that's going to wow you, especially if you're new to this, right? Miyoko's. It is incredible. Now, it is a little bit pricey. It is, but as a good little splurge, or, you know, something special once in a while, go for it. You're going to love it. It browns up so nice when you're actually cooking it or baking it, broiling it, whatever. But it's also, in my opinion, fantastic for charcuterie boards and eating it cold. I loved it. It was so good. Now, that one too has become more popular, and you can find it at Target. Whole Foods, I believe, has it. A lot of places now do carry Miyoko's, which is good. So just talking about like mozzarella in general, again, you know, you can find it now in slices and shreds and blocks, whatever. I think Follow Your Heart, Violife, and then Vivan. That is a newer one to me, but I'm already like claiming it as a favorite. Now that brand, Vivan, I've only found at Grocery Outlet, and I am just loving it. And it's like 98 cents a bag. You cannot beat it. And it comes in shreds as well as like deli slices too. So good, my friends, really good. But again, Follow Your Heart is another great one. I didn't even put this on my list, but it just made me think about it. But they have a fantastic ranch dressing as well. So if you're looking for a really good ranch that you can, again, kind of get your hands on at many places, Follow Your Heart, very, very good. With cheddar, I would say kind of the same thing. Follow Your Heart, Violife, those are great. Miyoko's too. I just kind of stay away from Miyoko's as like my norm, just because it is, again, a little bit pricier. Now let's talk feta cheese. I have a favorite for sure. There are two on the market that I am very familiar with, and I'm going to talk about both of them because I think they are both great. But my number one, and I just showed it actually in my last haul from Sprouts, is the Follow Your Heart feta. It is incredible. Incredible. I love it. The first time I actually tried it, well, besides just, you know, on its own, was over watermelon slices with balsamic glaze. So good. So good. I love it. Could only find it at Sprouts though. I know it's supposed to be available, again, being that Follow Your Heart brand, which is at a lot of places. It's supposed to be there, but I have only found it at Sprouts for myself. I hope it really picks up and does well, and we can find it at more places. The other one, again, is Violife. It kind of comes, though not crumbled like a traditional feta, and again, like that Follow Your Heart one, comes more in like a little block. And to me, it doesn't really have a feta flavor, not as much as the other one. And feta is very tangy, very strong, you know, but it's still really, really good. And it's very soft, and you can kind of crumble it. So I do still recommend it. Cream cheese. I do have some favorites for this, although I will say, you know, when I do share, again, hauls as I go, and, you know, asking even your guys' feedback on certain things when I first come upon them, I will say my favorite is Trader Joe's cream cheese, the vegan cream cheese there, I love. But I do know that some of the feedback that I have gotten from many of you is it's not always a favorite for you. And I think I know why though. There's two types of cream cheeses in this world. There's the really creamy kind of soft blends, go with me. And then there is kind of the harder spread kind. And so if you are more in that creamy, want it softer, very easy to spread out, I love the Trader Joe's one because it really takes on that consistency. That's for me. But if you're more of the other team, then I think you will love the Kite Hill one. Kite Hill is fantastic for their cream cheeses as well. They have many flavor varieties too, but any of them. So on my list here, even I kind of just made a section of slices and shreds. And again, kind of just recapping what I already said. I think the Follow Your Heart brand is amazing. Violife is amazing. And then recently that Vivan brand. And then also, but this one again is kind of a tough one to find, at least for me, everywhere, is the Good Planet brand. That one is really, really good. I've only been able to find that one though at Aldi. So if you have an Aldi, keep your eye out for it. You're gonna love it. It's great. All right, now let's skip to queso because that's most important. No, I only say that though because that is like one of my favorite must-have cheeses out there. I love nachos. I always tell you guys I'm a chip girl. My go-to favorite meal on earth is nachos. I love nachos. And for me, one of my favorite go-tos would be the Trader Joe's Fiesta dip, non-dairy Fiesta dip. I love the consistency of it. What I typically do, it comes in a little tub kind of over by the hummuses, and it's a little bit thick on its own when it's cold, but if you take a good scoop out, put a little bit of water into it, or even like soy milk or something to make it even creamier, mix it up, heat it up for like 20-30 seconds. It's so good, but it doesn't necessarily have a ton of flavor on its own, but I kind of still, for me, it's a favorite. I still go to it because it's a great base, and then you can add from there. Add a little hot sauce to it, add a little bit of even like taco seasoning into it, whatever you want. Again, it's a great starter, but on its own, it needs a little bit more, I think. And I love it though. I do. I love the consistency. It's fantastic for nachos. I think you will love it too. So, so good. And going back to where I started with cheese, speaking of nutritional yeast, this is where you can definitely get creative and again, make your own kind of cheese sauces, and that nutritional yeast would be your base, and you could make a mean queso that way as well. So earlier I had to Google, I'm like, okay, what are real dairy items? I was like drawing a blank. And of course what popped up was yogurt. Now for me personally, I am not a big yogurt fan, so I'm not, like I never was, and so I'm not like probably the best to tell you which ones to go get. So of course, again, please sound off for sure. However, my husband does really enjoy yogurt, so I have purchased many over the years for him, and I've gotten some feedback from him, and mostly though, I will say the good news is the majority of them out there, like by Silk, So Delicious, I think Kite Hill has some too. They're all keepers. Like, he really enjoys them. Sour cream. Sour cream is actually one that, believe it or not, for myself personally, I only have one recommendation. I know, it's kind of crazy, but for me, it's the Tofutti sour cream. I love it, but it is not to be mistaken for the cream cheese. They also carry a cream cheese, and the containers even look kind of similar, and I am not a fan of their cream cheese, but again, the sour cream, I love it. I also think it kind of has the closest flavor to it, whereas a lot of them out there, that's where it's fallen short for me. It's not so much the consistency, it's just the flavor's not there. In fact, again, Follow Your Heart is such a favorite of mine, but their sour cream, I'm not a fan of. I'm really not. But I did put on my list Forager. That is another brand that I know many of you have recommended for sour cream options. And again, please, that's great. I keep them coming. This is how we help people out and find new favorites out there. But for me personally, it kind of took on a little bit more of a like yogurt flavor. And again, I think so many people would love that, but coming for me that just doesn't love yogurt, it wasn't like a favorite for myself. Ice cream. There is good news to be had here. There are so many. And there are, whether you want to be really indulgent or you want to be like really good and have like alternatives that are even low calorie options too. There is a wide range, which is awesome. All the way from Ben & Jerry's, where it's 1,000 calories a pint. Enjoy, my friends. I am not knocking it. They're incredible. And then there's even, I would say, all the way down to like Halo Top, where you can have the pint for under 300, you know? I do feel like a lot of people are not the biggest fans of Halo Top overall. I personally really love them for what they are. Again, where you can really indulge and have yourself a full pint for under 300 calories, it ain't bad. I love them, and they have a ton of flavors. They really do. But again, this is something that I feel like has really taken off over the years, and there are just so many options out there now. And recently, like, my favorite out there is the Kind frozen bars. They're incredible. There's 2 flavors, and it's like a peanut one, and then there's the dark almond sea salt. They taste like frozen Snickers bars. Amazing. But overall, my friends, ice cream, you're gonna find one you love. You really will. Next one too, I just kind of a couple to round this off. I feel like I hit the main dairy items that people might be looking for alternatives for, but I also have on here chocolate. Most chocolate out there, if we're talking milk chocolate, of course it's not going to be vegan, but there are tons of chocolate alternatives for like dark chocolate. That's an easy one. There's plenty out there. My go-tos personally are the Endangered Species brand. I should know this before I put it out there, but I believe their line is vegan friendly. I believe there might be a couple flavors, maybe like a milk chocolate one, then of course that would not be, but the majority of them are, and they're so good. I love them. The almond sea salt is my personal favorite. I also just wanted to point out for you too, for like baking as well, the Trader Joe's chocolate chips are vegan, but the Trader Joe's chocolate chunks are not. One of my favorite brands though too for chocolate chips, if you don't have a Trader Joe's, is the Enjoy Life brand. Love those. They have them in mini ones too. You know, just a little snack, a little handful here and there. It's delicious. But that was my list, my friends. We did it. We did it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I could do a video like this if you want, of like just true meat alternatives if you'd like to see something like that too. Anyway, again, sound off in the comments, my friends. We'd love to hear it truly, and it really does just let us branch out more and try different things that we didn't even know existed. And again, I'm telling you, it's come such a long way. Don't be afraid of missing out on cheese. There is something out there for you, I promise. Anyway, my friends, hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.
Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna drive